Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We considered the Kleshas and we considered the Kriya Yoga. So, the Kriya Yoga topic consumes about the 12 sutras of Sadhanapada. Now, we need to consider what the Kleshas do. And I've been telling you that these are not afflictions, these are Kleshas. Affliction is a psychological term, it has a psychological connotation. But we have been dealing with Kleshas. The Kleshas, in absence of that, in absence of all Kleshas, it should be noted that we will neither be mundane, nor can be in mundane dynamics, nor can be in mundane gravity, nor can be in adhyatmic gravity. Now, we think that the Kleshas are Heyapaks, that means something avoidable. But it should be understood that without Klesha, of course there will be no bondage. It is with the Klesha vrittis that actually we have the bondage. And we need to counter the Klesha vrittis. We need to consider that the Klesha vrittis are Heyapaks for we commoners, we mortals. Now, it should be noted that in absence of Klesha, we will not be able to do even anything in Paramartha. So, because of Kleshas, we are able to make the endeavor in spiritual pursuit. In absence of Klesha, we would not be able to do any spiritual pursuit. So this is to be understood. So, when the Klesha vrittis are playing havoc, then it is called bhoga and bondage. But when we take spiritual pursuit or have spiritual pursuit, it should be noted it is because of Kleshas. The achar vicharadi norms are practiced. Dharma, viveka, jnana, karma, upasana, bhakti, yoga. It is all because of Kleshas. So this is a very important point to be noted. And when because of the Kleshas we are on right path, it is called Paramartha. And because of the same Kleshas, we are not on a right path, but we are on a wrong path, then it is called Bhoga. So, it should be noted that the Kleshas are needed by mankind. Listen to this very carefully and understand this in a proper perspective. Because suppose you don't have I-ness, it is not only that you will not commit sorrows, you will not only commit sins, but you will also not be able to commit virtues. Dharma-Sanchaya or accumulation of merit is not possible with absence of Klesha. It is because of the Klesha that we will be able to adhere to virtuous path. And if we are on virtuous path, it should be noted that it is because of the Kleshas. So it is important that we understand Kleshas in right perspective. Because if we do not have I-ness, then how are we going to commit any virtue? How are we going to pursue yoga? How are you going to pursue Adhyatma, Paramartha? So to pursue Paramartha, we need that I-ness. Now I-ness is Asmita and Asmita is a Klesha. So understand that to be on a spiritual path, it is must that we have Kleshas. Therefore, it is not right to translate it as afflictions. It is not that we must have afflictions to pursue a spiritual path. So it's a metapsychological term which I have been repeatedly telling you, and we need to understand this because we are not familiar with metapsychology, metapsychics, but we are familiar with psychology and psychics. Anyway. So, the Kleshas are positive as well as negative. Kleshas are good as well as bad. Kleshas are meritorious as well as unmeritorious. So that's why this is a very intriguing concept. And I repeat that you must try to ponder over it. But then what Kleshas do is also it plays a negative role. And that is true in case of anything. Except the absolute virtue, every virtue has pros and cons. Relative virtue has pros and cons. For you to understand in simple words, money or wealth is both positive and negative. It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. There is a merit in having money and wealth, and there is also demerit in having money and wealth. And therefore we know the subject like Artha Shastra, how to keep the wealth or use the wealth or earn the wealth which is going to be reaping positives and not negatives. So similar is the condition of Kleshas. So we should not be having aversion to Kleshas. Neither we should have attachment for Kleshas. But the fact of the matter is, the Klesha is the instrument through which we will be in mundane gravity, and it is also possible that the Kleshas can be properly invested, properly managed, so that we are in the path of Paramartha. Because the Paramartha is not possible without Klesha. So when Kleshas are working positively, then that is technically also called as Dhyana. And therefore I have been telling you, Dhyana is not meditation. When the resources are used properly for spiritual purpose, then that is called dhyana. And the same resources, when they are used under mundane gravity, then they become klesha. And then those kleshas are Heyapaks, those are avoidable. If you recall, in case of chitta vritti, we saw that chitta vritti is to be restrained in yoga. But then chitta vrittis are of two kinds, aklishta and klishta. So aklishta vritti has to be engendered, has to be accumulated, has to be sought after, and we have to be specking the aklishta vrittis. So one and the same vritti can be klishta and aklishta. If you recall pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti, these vrittis could be either klishta or aklishta, and aklishta vritti are acceptable, are to be accepted, are to be collected and piled up, while the klishta vritti has to be done away with. So like in case of vrittis, we did consider this. Similarly about kleshas. When the kleshas are working for our dharma, for our jnana, for our vairagya, for our yoga, for our spiritual goal, then they are called dhyana. The same kleshas get designation as dhyana in Adhyatma. So in Paramartha, the kleshas, when they are positively reaping, positively used, positively applied, positively gathered, accumulated, then that is called dhyana. Otherwise, if that is not the case, then the kleshas are Heyapaksha. The kleshas are avoidable. So, why are they called kleshas? Because generally the kleshas work for Janma and Maranam, the birth and death. The kleshas rotate us in the wheel or on the wheel of Janma Maranam. Then because of kleshas, we keep ourselves engaged in Karma-Akarma, Dharma-Adharma, Papa, Punya, Sukha-Duh, Raga, Dvesha, Karma, and then the Karma-Akarma, Dharma-Adharma, Sukha-Duh, this is the wheel. Now if you notice here these terms, Karma-Akarma, so something is meritorious and something is not. Dharma-Adharma, something is meritorious and something is not. Papa, Punya, something is meritorious and something is not. So you will see that there are both. It is because of Kleshas we can be good. It is because of the Kleshas we can be doing good. And because of the Kleshas we will be doing the opposite, the bad, the avoidable. So, the Kleshas keep us rotating in these pairs which form a wheel by itself. It's a wheel by itself, and the wheel is Karma-Akarma, Dharma-Adharma, Papa, Punya, Sukha-Duh, Raga-Dvesha, Karma-Akarma, Dharma-Adharma, Papa, Punya, Sukha-Duh, Raga-Dvesha, Karma-Akarma, Dharma-Adharma, Papa, Punya, Sukha-Duh, Raga-Dvesha, Karma-Akarma. This is the wheel. And therefore we are bound. Therefore we don't get emancipation. So this is called Karma Chakra, the wheel of karma. And that is why they are called Kleshas. So it justifies to be called them as Kleshas. But in Paramartha, when the Kleshas are used in positive way, then they are called Dhyana. That's why Patanjali has the sutra Dhyana Heyaha Stadvruttayaha. So when our I-ness is in profile which is conducive to spirituality, then we say that is welcome I-ness. If there is no I-ness at all, for instance in the state of deep sleep, we don't score more merit at all. Although we also don't score any demerit, we also don't score merit by being in a dreamless sleep, because the I-ness is almost neutralized, and therefore we neither do good nor bad. If we want to be doing good, we must come to a wakeful state, and in a wakeful state we can do something whereby we will collect merit. So, point is, I am trying to make you understand that the Kleshas should be understood in right perspective, and not just make a general statement that Kleshas are Heyapaks. Of course, the Kleshas are Heyapaks. So, like Vritti Vijnana, Klesha Vijnana is to be understood. If there are Klishta Vrittis, the Klesha is also for Paramartha and Prapancha. So, we are now going to consider what the Kleshas do. We have tried to understand what Kleshas are until this point in time. And therefore, the Kriya Yoga topic is ending, because Klesha Tanukaranartham and Samadhi Bhavanartham Kriya Yoga Anusthana takes place, and we have seen the Klesha and Klesha Tanukaranam, and therefore we considered Kleshas. Now, therefore, we are embarking upon a new topic, and as I said in the last session, that this is the heart of yoga. The whole philosophy of yoga is based on the Karma-Siddhanta. And now we are embarking upon Karma-Siddhanta, which is so important aspect in yoga, which is totally overlooked by modern yoga, neo-yoga called yoga, where we are just considering our physical, mental well-being in mundane life for mundanity, to be harvesting mundanity. That is why today yoga is so popular, that you can harvest mundanity. But the fundamental philosophical tenets of yoga, which is the Karma-Siddhanta, Yoga Shastra is known for Karma-Siddhanta, not as much as for physical, mental well-being, as today yoga is seen to be doing that. So we are coming to a very fundamental aspect of yoga philosophy. Yoga scores over any other philosophical system because of this portion of Yoga Sutras which deals with Karma-Siddhanta. So therefore we are embarking upon new topic, and now I gave you a prologue to this new topic that is commencing in Yoga Sutra. Basically, why yogis are dreaded of Klesha, and we are not dreaded of Klesha because we won't enjoy the life without Kleshas. If we want enjoyment in life, we must have Klesha. And because we have Klesha, we will also have sufferance. We all are having pursuit for Sukha, pursuit for delight and pleasure. And for that purpose, we need our I-ness. We need our mind matter and mind stuff. And we need the ga-Dves. If you do not have raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes, etc., how are you going to enjoy pleasure? Suppose, imagine a person who has no sense of pain and pleasure. What is called a vegetative state. Now, in vegetative state, you won't have any pain, but then you also will not have any pleasure. Now, we don't want that. We don't want a vegetative state in order to prevent any sufferance, because that also means that we will not have delights and pleasures and happiness. Now, we don't want such a condition. So, the Kleshas are giving us the delights of mundane life, delights of life here and hereafter in Laukika, Parlaukika plane, terrestrial and celestial planes. We are getting our pleasures. That is why we are making all endeavors. And therefore we are not dreaded of Kleshas. We mortals are not dreaded of Kleshas. Perhaps not only not dreaded, but we make our life a party of joy, party of enjoyment. And that is why we are embracing Kleshas. But yogis see the dark side of it. And we don't see the dark side of it. We see only the bright side of it. But when there is a bright side of it, there is also dark side of it. So, those in the path of spirituality, after a stage, are dreaded of Klesha. The Klesha is a monster. Why the Kleshas are a monster? For simple reason, these are Panchaparva monsters, for simple reason that they bind you to Janana Maranam. They bind you, they keep you mounted on Karma Chakra. And we don't bother about Karma Chakra, but they bother about Karma Chakra. They have to bother about Karma Chakra. They will be bothering about Karma Chakra, the wheel of karma, and therefore for them, Kleshas are monstrous. So, we mortal people, when we are parched and agonized and tormented by Trivida tapas, Adibhutik, Adhyatmik, Adidevik tapa, that is called tapatraya. So when we are parched by tapatraya, then what do? We place our hand on our forehead and we say, this is my destiny. That is called Lalata Patala. So we point out at our Lalata Patala, which is the forehead region, and we say, this is my fate. So when we face bad times, then we point out at our destiny. But strangely, human psyche is such, when it is getting delights and success, it doesn't point out at destiny. Destiny has been hashtagged that it is ill luck and bad luck. It is destiny. Even good luck is our destiny. But we don't point out at our destiny when we are having fortunes, when we have success and gains and enjoyments and delights and pleasures and joys. Then we say, it is my work, it is my endeavor, it is my intelligence, it is my act whereby I am rich, I am happy, I am delighted. So it is Purushartha. This is very strange aspect of human psyche. When you have good times, you say, it is my endeavor. Success is mine. But when it comes to failure, the failure is of destiny, because of destiny. Destiny is a culprit. But you don't say that you have a godfather when you are having good time, fortune, etc. So you don't see godfather in your destiny. But destiny gives you both, Sukha-Duh. But you take credit for Sukha and you blame the destiny for Dukkha. This is typical of human psyche. Anyway, so the astikas, I'm not referring to theists, I'm referring to astikas. The astikas say, oh, this is my karma, this is my fate, this is my destiny only in bad times. This is my praktana. So these are the expressions which come in vernacular. This is my karma, this is my praktana, this is my prarabdha, and these are my bhogas. So, as if only dukkha is a bhoga and sukha is not a bhoga. Sukha is as much a bhoga as much as dukkha is bhoga. The pleasure is as much as bhoga as much as dukkha is bhoga. So, what is all this? It is Klesha generation. Because of Kleshas we do karmas, and because of karmas we have papa punya, because of papa punya we have Sukha-Duh. So, the topic is to tell us about what the Kleshas do. And primarily, the Kleshas which are kind of black and brown, figuratively, we are going to deal with it. Howsoever, it must be borne in mind that we also do the virtues and good things and praiseworthy things for paramartha, for spirituality. It is because of Kleshas. But the Kleshas don't get anything to their credit in their accounts. We only go on debiting their accounts for our sufferance, our tapatraya, etc. So that's actually ill-fated klesha. The kleshas in themselves are ill-fated. They do even good, but we don't attribute anything good in them. We only attribute the bad in them. Anyway, let me tell you here that the Karma-Siddhanta is so centric to yoga that Bhagavad Gita in its verse 6.3, because 6th chapter is Dhyana Yoga chapter, Abhyasa Yoga chapter. This is the yoga which is discussed in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, aptly called as Dhyana Yoga or Abhyasa Yoga. There, in the 3rd verse, Bhagavan Shri Krishna mentions Arurukshoho munehe yogam Karma-Akarma uchyate. So the classical yoga of neophyte, not the beginners like you and me. We are beginners in yoga, but our yoga has not begun. Our yoga doesn't commence when we commence our yoga. And this I have said umpteen number of times. What is important is where yoga commences for us and not when we commence yoga. Of course, we have to commence yoga for yoga to commence. There's no doubt about it. However, the point in time the yoga would be commencing will be different than the point in time we commence yoga. It is at later stage, and that stage is called Aruruksha. That is called neophyte. And therefore Gita says, Arurukshoho munehe yogam Karma-Akarma uchyate. The karma is cause of yoga. And this is, the karma means this. We must have karma consciousness. Karma consciousness is about right and wrong. The karma consciousness is about laukik and paramarthika. What is mundane and what is spiritual. What is being mundane and what is being spiritual. What amounts to mundanity and materiality and what amounts to spirituality. So we must have this discrimination. That is called karma consciousness. We must reform in karma. So when you are reforming in karma, your yoga commences. It is not that when you move your body and mind, etc., that your yoga commences. When you mobilize your body and mind, yoga doesn't commence. So the karma consciousness begins yoga. When you are karma conscious, then yoga begins. And to be karma conscious, now this is being commenced. The topic of Karmasiddha is being commenced for us to have Karmasiddha. So understand what is going to follow is so fundamental to essential yoga, classical yoga. It is not proper to trace yoga in Ashtanga yoga. Because Ashtanga yoga, again, we do not have a classical approach. Our yoga commences with perhaps some asanas, or perhaps with some kriyas, or perhaps some with pranayam. And that is what our yoga is, doing asana, pranayam, and the so-called meditation, not even dhyana. So-called meditation, that meditation. If you are doing asana, pranayam, meditation, today it becomes yoga. It doesn't become like that. So the following part of the Yoga Sutras, which is comprising of the topic of Karmasiddha, there is the material for essential yoga. We have to pick up our material from what is going to follow. So that is called Karma Pratibodha or Karma Consciousness. And therefore the topic that is now going to commence is paramount, is of paramount importance, vital importance. So how does it commence? Klesha Mulaha. Klesha Mulaha. Klesha Mulaha what? Karmashaya. What kind of Karmashaya? Drutta Drushta Janma Vedaniyaha. So this is the sutra at the helm of this topic, at the beginning of this topic is 2.12. So until 11 sutras it was Kriya Yoga. And now from 12th sutra, now this is commencing Klesha Mula Karmashayaha Drutta Drushta Janma Vedaniyaha. So this will tell us about reality of our existence. And then when we have some knowledge of reality of our existence, then we will reform, not otherwise. Klesha Mulaha. Kleshas are mula. Kleshas are basis. The kleshas are roots. Like a tree has a root. The trees have roots. And we know how important the roots are, and therefore the very word root has that meaning. It's not just root, description of a part of a tree. It's a root by itself. It's a foundation by itself. So roots are not just a part of a tree, like the tree has trunk and barks and branches and leaves and fruits and flowers. It is not just one of the parts of the tree. It is called root. So word root, the meaning of it has to be understood here, that it is really R-O-O-T, root, in the sense foundation, basis. So Klesha Mulaha. Kleshas are basis. For what? Karmashayaha. Karmashayaha means karma vasana. Literally and technically, karma means karma and ashaya means vasana. See, our karmas are because of our tendencies. Why are we doing karmas? Usually we say we do what we should do what we like. I try to do what I like. But the dynamics of the world tell us that many times we have to do the things that we don't like. It is not that you can be just adhering to that norm, that you will only do what you like. That means you have not understood the reality of life. Reality of life is that You try to do what you like to do, but then you have to do also what you don't like to do. The situations force you, conditions force you, and many times you also have to do what you don't like. Now, why is it that you don't like something? It is because of your tendency, your mental makeup. Because of your mental makeup, you don't like something, and because of your mental makeup, you like something. So your likes and dislikes have underlying fact of your mental makeup, tendencies, propensities, dispositions, inclinations. So therefore they are vasanas. And therefore, Kleshamula Karmashaya. Now Karmashaya means the basis of karma. Whys of karma. What's of karma. Hows of karma. Which karma? Drushta drushta janma vedaniyaha. Drushta janma vedaniya karma, adrushta janma vedaniya karma. So what is drushta janma vedaniya karma? Vedaniya means, for you to understand the word, it is the sensing. To experience and to sense drushta janma. And to sense adrushta janma. What is drushta janma? The present life. The current life, present life, that lies between our birth in this life and our death in this life is called drushta janma vedaniya, because we are seeing it. It is experience. We experience our life right from the birth point to death point. But however, we exist before birth and after death. So astikas know that we exist before the birth and after the death as well. But that part of our existence, which is of present life, current life, ongoing life, that is called drushta janma vedaniya karmashaya. That is based on vasanas, which are drushta janma vedaniya. They are for this life. And then we also exist prior to our birth and posterior to our death, which is called unseen lives. Our previous life is not seen life for us today. It is unseen. It is totally veiled behind the iron curtain of lack of memory, a lack of recollection. We don't recollect anything of the last life. As to where were we, what were we, how were we, what were we doing. It's all unknown to us. It is all veiled. Therefore, there is a curtain, the time curtain. The time curtain, the time of past. Because it is such a realm of the past that it is now invisible to us. So, invisible is adrushta. Invisible is adrushya. And therefore, adrushta janma vedaniya means invisible aspect of our existence, which is everything before our birth in this life. And what is also invisible is all that is after our death in this life. It is also invisible to us. So adrushta janma vedaniya means retrospective manifestations and prospective manifestations. And drushta janma vedaniya means actual manifestation. So this is the first sutra of the topic. Klesha mulaha. Such an important concept. Klesha mulaha karmashayaha. Why are we existing? We are existing because of the karmas. That's why in moksha, when the karmas are exhausted, you cease to exist in mortal forms. You become immortal. You are free from cycle of birth and death. So that is karma. The karma is that which is rotating us from life to life, life after life, life after life after life after life after life. So these are two kinds of lives the seen and unseen. The seen is experienced now. We are experiencing it now. Can be experienced now. And unseen lives means our past life and all the lives prior to this life. Countless lives in various forms we have existed. They are adrushta janma vedaniya. And also our lives hereafter. We do not know what we are going to be in our next life. Where are we going to be in our next life? In what form we are going to be in our next life? So we have no clue to all those prospective lives. So those are called adrushta janma vedaniya. Retrospective incarnations and prospective incarnations. We are only aware of our present incarnation. And therefore, that is called drushta janma vedaniya, and other two are called adrushta janma vedaniya. So Patanjali commences to mention Klesha moola Karmashaya drushta janma vedaniya. So you should understand that our existence is twofolds. One is drushta janma vedaniya and the other one is adrushta janma vedaniya. And I want to stick to these technical terms because that will be coming handy in conceiving the philosophy properly rather than translating it. I will give the translations for you to really only understand the meaning of it, but don't stick to translations. So adrushta janma vedaniya means retrospective incarnations and prospective incarnations, because they are unseen for us. We cannot be seeing what is our next life. We cannot be seeing what was our life, last life and previous lives, endless lives, lives from time without beginning, and we do not know the lives until time without an end. We are going to exist. The bubble of our existence is going to come, appear, disappear, appear, disappear. So, it is called Purva Janma, Purva Janma, all the Purva Janma and all Uttara Janma. So those who understand vernacular, all Purva Janmas are Adrushta Janma Vedaniya, all Uttarottara Janmas are Adrushta Janma Vedaniya, and only present life is Drushta Janma Vedaniya. And for our existence, we think we need a body. Or maybe little extended, we need a body and mind for our existence. No, but this is a very naive view. We need for our existence vasanas. The vasanas manifest in the form of body, in the form of senses, in the form of mind, in the form of psyche and consciousness. And all those put together give us existence. Just having a body doesn't give us existence. So we must have the whole assembly of a human embodiment, which is body, mind, senses, breathing, psyche, consciousness, all the mind factors and aspects, all the body factors and aspects, all the factors and aspects of psyche, consciousness. So we don't just exist by body, we don't just exist by mind, and we just do not exist by embodiment. But the embodiment is devised, customized, shaped by vasanas. That is why in Adhyatma Shastra, there is a statement, Vasanamaya ayam purushaha. Vasanamaya ayam purushaha. This human embodiment is Vasanamaya. Vasana profused. So everything is because of vasanas. The vasanas are bearing out our physical embodiment, our mental embodiment, our psychic embodiment, our physical aspects, our mental aspects, our psychic aspects. So they are all manifestations of our vasanas. And again, not to use the English word tendency. Tendency is tendency. Here it's a technical term. Vasana is a technical term. Tendency is not a technical term. As much broad as vasanas are. So therefore we should stick to these words so that we will be able to conceive the philosophy that is going to come up. If we are going to translate every single term, then we will not be qualified to really understand the philosophy. That's why I'm sticking to technical terms. So, that is why in Adhyatma we are told our present karmas are based on Purva Karma Vasana. The previous life is shaping our present life. Our previous life has shaped our present life. Previous lives are material for our present life. Why are we like this today? It is because of our previous lives. We did something in previous lives, we nurtured something in previous lives, and therefore we are whatever we are today in this life. And today's life is going to be material for our prospective lives. What we are going to be is because of what we are going to be now. What we are going to be in prospective incarnations is because of what we are now, what we are doing now. So what we did in retrospective lives has given us the fruition in the form of present life, and what we are going to do in present life is going to give the fruition in the form of prospective lives. So the vasanas are transmigrating. Vasanas transmigrate from life to life, life after life, life after life after life after life. Our body doesn't transmigrate. We leave the mortal coils behind here. Body doesn't come with us. That is why in Adhyatma we are told about Sukshma Sharira, Vasana Sharira, the transmigrating body. And that transmigrating body is not of flesh or skin, flesh, muscles, bones, but it is of the vasanas. It is of the nature of vasanas. So, that is little bit about Karmashaya, Karma Vasana. There is reference to Sukshma Shariram, of which Adhyatma speaks very, very, very often. So, we have just tried to understand the general meaning of this 12th sutra. Klesha Mula Karmashaya Drushta Drushta Janma Vedaniyaha. Now we will be commencing on deciphering these terms, understanding the sutra, understanding the purport of sutra, understanding the depth of sutra, but that will be commenced in our next session. So enough for typing. Namaskar all of you.